Alright, this is a 2000 Honda Odyssey. What we're going to do is replace the starter. Okay, here we are. Here's the battery case, and here's the starter way down here. So there's a couple bolts. There's one up on the top, you can see right in there, and then the bottom one is sort of underneath the starter here. So I'm going to try something different. I'm going to take the battery out. So I've disconnected the two posts here. Take off the two brackets, and see, you just unscrew it here. And then you just flip these out. So that's nothing. So let's just take this top thing off, get this battery off. Oh, see, it's got all corroded. How about this one? Oh, the positive one, not too bad. But we'll put some baking soda and clear that up when we put it back on. So when we do take the battery off, start with the negative side first. And we'll put that on last. The other thing is, you're going to take the battery off. You're going to have to deal with the radio. Because if you have a stock radio, it's got those radio codes in, and it's too late now. So make sure you have those. The other thing is, when you touch all this stuff, be careful. You get it on your clothes, you're going to have holes in your clothes. Battery acid is not forgiving. So after I work with the battery here, I'll probably go wash my hands, because I have a tendency of sometimes wiping my hands on my pants or something like that, and then next thing you know, I'm mad because I come out of the wash next time and there's holes or there's white spots or whatever. So just a little tip. See, this stuff comes off easy. So I loosen this one as far as I have to unhook it from the bottom. So it sort of comes out of the way. Same thing with this. You see, it's just little hooks here, and that's it. Okay, here comes our battery box. See, it's all full of, what do they call this stuff, from the battery. What I'll do is wash this out, put a little baking soda in there, clean it all out before I put it back in. Okay, so with the battery out, I'm going to take this guy off. He's got just a bolt here. Make a little bit more room. And maybe I can get in here without taking this. Let's see. Maybe this isn't that hard anyway. Well, we'll see. We'll take a look and see what I can do. Okay, this bolt is a 10 millimeter. And all the battery stuff came off the brackets and the clamps with 11. This should come off pretty easy too. Why? Okay, finally that came off. It's got these little rubber clips. So we'll move those out of the way. Here, let me turn this off because I only have one hand. With this Honda Odyssey, it seems like there's 3 bolts. 1, 2, and one down here to move the remove the battery box. I already loosened it up, and then we just have to take these connectors off of it, but we can do that once we get done. So we'll just spin these off because I already broke them loose. We'll take off that one, and the one on the bottom, and we'll come back and see what that looks like. Well, I guess I was fooled too. There's 1, 2, 3 down there, and there's another one way down there. I don't know if I feel like doing that. I think I'll try something different. How about if, let's see, I'm going to throw the starter away anyway. So, I know the bolt is underneath the motor here. I'm going to see if I can take this bolt off and the one over here, and take this off, and then see if it gives me access to that bolt. Then we can see about putting it on. So 5/16. I have it as a 5/16. It's probably a metric too. I'll look at it. Okay, that one's loose. Let me look. I'm going to put the camera down because there's one right here. You can't see it anyway, so it's right here on the bottom, just opposite this one. So let me turn the camera on after I take that back off. So now what I did is let's see if I get this guy out of there. Yep, took this bolt out. I'm going to take the top one out. And now I'm going to put this thing right out of here. Move that out of the way. And now I'll have access. Where's this bottom bolt? There it is. It's right under here. I don't know if you can see it. Right there. The bottom bolt of the starter. So I want to see if I can break that loose. And then also come up here and take this one out. The upper one. And then I can take the wires out and pull that whole thing out of there. So let me give that a try. Alright, so I'm able to get a socket on there. And I got my ratchet, but of course I tried to break it and I just can't do it. I'm gonna need a little assistance here. So get my old friend out here. Try it again. Don't really give you a lot of room. Jeez, who put these in there? Okay, so a little help from a pipe finally broke it loose. Okay, so I love these people who design this stuff. They never design it with the thing of somebody's ever got to fix it. Okay, here. This is this baby. Well, we're going to put some oil on this guy when we put him in. So now we have to do the same thing with this bolt right here. But this will be considerably easier. So let's get our ratchet on there and break that guy loose. In fact, what I think I'll do, I don't have to. Maybe I'll take off these connectors first, these electrical connectors. That way there's one less thing in the way. So let me get a wrench here, and I'm going to take this off right here. Maybe you can see in there. Okay, and that is the cable that goes to the battery. And that, let's see how this guy comes off. Okay, that's just a push on. Alright, well, that's one thing that's easy. One thing. Okay, now make sure we're going in the off direction, counterclockwise. Sort of give it a jerk. Ah, look at that. Okay, here's the second bolt. Well, maybe it's free. Let's see. Ah, here it is. And here's our starter. Okay, now let me put this back together again. Alright, so what happened is I took these two bolts out, took the motor part of the starter apart, so I didn't have to struggle so much to get to this bottom bolt. So now, here it is. It's nothing. This is the part that connects onto this gear here, which is the one that pulls out and starts this. When you hit the starter, it just comes out and it turns, and that's what starts. When the motor gets going, that just goes back in. So, and here's the guts of the starter itself. This is the armature, and you'll see in here, don't run away, are the brushes are right. The brushes are right here, and those touch on this armature here, right in here. So that's how that all goes together. Oh, wrong way. It goes like this. Goes in like that. This goes in here. You take these two bolts. let's see, this is This is 5/16. It should be, so it's 5/16 or 8mm. One side. Okay, so see the starters all put back together again. Time to go to the auto parts store and turn it in and get another one. Okay, here's our new starter. All nice and cleaned up. So what we have to do is put it on there and put the bolt in the bottom, right there, bolt in the top. Remember how we snuck it out? We took these two bolts off. This long one here, this long one here. Took this off, let it dangle, then we're able to get it out. So now what we have to do is, so not going to do that on the way in. We did that so we could get at this bolt. So putting it in is not going to be as bad as taking it out. So let's just install this. And here's the bolt. This is the one on the bottom, and the smaller one goes up on the top. And we're going to put some oil on these to make it a little easier. And then we'll connect up the electronics and fix the battery. Whatever you call it, battery pan. And I guess we didn't really have to take this out. So when you're doing it, you won't have to if you use my method. So alright, let's put it back in here. Okay, so the starter just dropped right in here nice and easily, and you can see we started the upper bolt. So once we start the upper one, then we can install the bottom one. And there it goes, all the way in. Okay, so now let me take my extension here, and we're going to tighten up the top one. Okay, and then we're going to go to the bottom one here. So I'm going to put the camera down. They can't hold it, but I'm going to just tighten this right up here. Okay, with the bottom one tightened, we just tighten this top one. Starter's in place. Now we will put this little wire on here. This just slides in. Just like that. Press the boot over the top. The next thing is the positive. It's got, so we pushed it on here, and we have a lock washer and the nut, and this is a number 12. Okay, that's good and tight. We'll put the boot over the top of it, like so. And then what we'll do is come back and put the bolts back in the battery tray that we didn't have to take out in the first place. But so we'll put bolt one there, bolt here, and bolt down on the side over here. So if you take off the part of the motor here, the starter motor, and pull that out, then you don't have to take the battery tray out, which has that really nasty bolt way down there you can barely see. So that will eliminate doing this. Okay, just want to finish this up here. This one's tight, and also the one down on the bottom, I tighten that one. So I'll just move these clips over for these connectors. That takes care of that. Both of those. Hook them back on. And then, oh, we got to put this guy on. Just a little bolt right here. So it goes right here, and it just fastens it, and it comes over here. So let me put that on, and I'll start the camera up again. Okay, so what we did here. Okay, we finished tightening this. This will hold this bracket on. So the next thing we have to do is put the plastic box back in, put the battery in, hook up the connectors, and we'll see if it starts. Okay, see this? The battery case is full of that white stuff. Want to wash that out first. Find a place to put that. What I'll do is take some Arm & Hammer baking soda, throw a little in there. Clean all that out. And it's good as new. So, alright, now we'll put the battery case back in here. And that's where it goes. There's some wires. Hook up some wires that are off to the side. Push that one in. Push this one in place. Okay, takes care of that. Next thing is the battery itself, but before we put the battery in, I'd like to clean these terminals just a touch. So clean this off. Take a little baking soda, wipe it around there. Then I'll neutralize all the acid. Okay, now we'll do the same thing for the terminals. Okay, now I'm going to I want to clean this one here, so I get a little cup, put some baking soda in there, mix that up, and I'll just dunk that right in there. Swish it around. You can see how the color of the water changes immediately. That washes that off all nice and clean. So that takes care of that. Brush that off. And then, where's it? Cleaner. Oh. Then we have this little brush tool. You can use this, or you can use a piece of sandpaper if you want. Clean that off. This one's already clean, so we'll take care of that. Now we'll set the battery in. Push this stuff out of the way so we can get it. Okay, so we'll put the positive one on first. This is 11. Okay, so we'll tighten the positive up first. We put this cover back over. Oh, come on. Okay, so that's tight. Last thing we have is the battery. So what happens is these little hooks just hook down in there and grab on. So we just have to loosen them up just enough to hook on. Do the same thing with this side. Okay, that's not going anywhere. Alright, so we got the starter in, we got the wires on, we got the battery case back on, which in this case we didn't even have to take it off because we took the starter apart when it was on the car by taking, or you can see those shiny bolts, take those shiny bolts off and take the motor off the case, and that made it slip down, and then we could just bring the whole, we could get to the bottom bolt where you can't see, and that we were able to sneak it right up through. And then we also cleaned the battery terminals with baking soda because that seems to work the best. And we brushed them with our little tools, the edges. The bolts are 17 millimeters. The bolt for the battery cable is a 12. The cases are 10. The battery box is 10, but you don't even have to do that because you don't have to take that off. And that's about it. So let's see if the thing starts. Okay, so the car starts, runs. Now, since we took the battery off, your radio probably won't work anymore because once you unplug it, it cuts the power off, it says that it's being stolen. So you got to punch in the codes. This doesn't have a navigational unit, so that's to be the same thing. Also, now that you touched all this stuff, the batteries and everything else, I strongly suggest you wash your hands and wash your clothes before the battery acid eats them all up. And that's about it. It wasn't too bad. It was more scary than how hard it really is. The other thing is, if you're going to do a smog test, now that you disconnected the battery, the car is going to know that, and it's going to want you to drive for 100, 150 miles before all the computers reset and get adjusted, and that way it'll pass the smog.
If you liked the video, please subscribe and hit the like button. Thank you.